The American Civil War was not only a clash of armies, it was a war of secrets, shadows, and silent heroes. Behind every cannon blast and every charge across smoky fields, men and women risked their lives in the unseen world of espionage and deception. While generals like Grant and Lee decided the fate of nations on battlefields, hidden hands, spies, couriers, and codebreakers tilted the balance from the shadows. This is one of their forgotten stories. The spy who never existed. In the spring of 1863, as the Union prepared for the pivotal Vicksburg campaign, a Confederate spy named Isaac Trent emerged in Washington, D.C. Or so everyone believed. He spoke with Virginia drawl, carried Southern papers, and moved among Confederate sympathizers in the capital. He fed vital intelligence to Richmond, Union troop movements, rail supply schedules, and coded messages smuggled through newspapers. But Isaac Trent was not real. The man playing his part was Elias Ford, a Union intelligence officer working directly under Allen Pinkerton, head of Lincoln's Secret Service. Ford's mission was clear: create a fake identity, infiltrate Confederate spy rings in the North, and feed them false information to mislead General Pemberton's defenses at Vicksburg. Ford's deception was brilliant. His counterfeit reports convinced the Confederacy that General Grant's army would attack from the north along the Yazoo River. Pemberton repositioned thousands of troops, leaving the southern approaches weak. Grant instead struck from the south, crossing the Mississippi under cover of night, and within weeks, the Confederate stronghold of Vicksburg fell. The Union had split the South in two, and a man who technically did not exist had helped make it happen. The woman behind enemy lines. Not all spies hid in shadows. Some stood in plain sight, underestimated by everyone around them. In Richmond, 27-year-old Mary Bowser worked as a servant in Confederate White House, the home of President Jefferson Davis himself. Born enslaved but secretly freed and educated in the North, Mary had returned to Virginia under a false identity, using her position to pass information directly to Union intelligence. She appeared to Confederates as a quiet, obedient maid, polishing furniture and pouring tea. But her memory was razor-sharp, and her courage unmatched. Every time Davis discussed battle plans, troop strengths, or foreign correspondence, Mary quietly noted every word. By night, she memorized maps left on the president's desk, then slipped away to pass details through the city's underground network. Her intelligence often reached Union lines faster than official couriers. Even General Ulysses S. Grant later credited, a source in Richmond, for helping anticipate Confederate movements during key campaigns. When Richmond fell in 1865, Mary vanished. Some say she escaped north, others that she perished in the chaos. But in silence, her legend endured. The invisible woman who listened to the heart of Confederacy and whispered its secrets to the North. The secret war beneath the rivers. While spies worked above ground, a different breed of soldier fought a hidden war beneath the water. In 1864, Confederate engineers in Charleston developed a terrifying weapon. The H.L. Hunley, the world's first successful combat submarine. Its mission: break the Union blockade strangling the South. On a cold February night, 8 men climbed inside the narrow iron tube, hand-cranked its propeller, and sailed toward the Union ship USS Housatonic. Union sailors on deck laughed when they first saw the odd shape moving slowly through the waves. But moments later, the laughter died. The Hunley's torpedo struck, blowing a hole in the Housatonic's hull and sending it to the bottom, the first ship ever sunk by a submarine. But the victory was short-lived. The Hunley itself vanished beneath the waves, lost with its entire crew. It was found over a century later, perfectly preserved, the men still at their stations, frozen in time. Their silent sacrifice marked the dawn of undersea warfare, decades before the world would fully understand the power of submarines. The double agent's gamble. In the summer of 1864, as Union troops marched toward Atlanta, Confederate General John Bell Hood grew desperate. Supplies were dwindling, morale was breaking, and the South needed a miracle. That miracle came in the form of Thomas Harwood, a double agent who played both sides like a fiddle. Harwood had served the Confederates as a telegraph operator, but he also secretly worked for the Union's Bureau of Military Information. He intercepted coded messages, rewrote them slightly, and sent them onward, altering the course of battles one word at a time. when it planned to ambush Sherman's supply line near Marietta. Harwood subtly delayed the transmission by 2 hours, just long enough for Union troops to reinforce the line. The Confederate attack failed disastrously. Hood's army suffered heavy losses, and the road to Atlanta lay open. After the war, Harwood's identity was erased from Union records for his own safety. He was neither celebrated nor remembered, but his invisible hand changed the tide of the war more than most generals ever could. The Ghost Regiment. Not all secrets were human. Some were entire illusions. In 1862, the Union Army created one of history's most ingenious deceptions, the Quaker guns in the Ghost Regiment. Quaker guns were fake cannons made of logs, painted black, and positioned on hillsides to fool enemy scouts. But the Ghost Regiment went further. There were actors, musicians, and engineers who staged elaborate fake camps to mislead Confederate reconnaissance. Using tents stuffed with straw and campfires lit by lanterns on sticks, they created the illusion of thousands of soldiers camped across Virginia hills. Confederate spies reported massive Union forces preparing for attack, forces that didn't exist. This psychological warfare kept Confederate generals guessing and forced them to scatter their already thin forces across multiple fronts. It was war by illusion, and it worked. The letter that ended the war. In April 1865, as the Confederacy collapsed, a courier rode through the woods of Virginia, carrying a letter marked top secret. Inside were the final orders from General Robert E. Lee to his cavalry commanders, one last desperate attempt to regroup and strike back. But fate intervened. The courier, exhausted and hungry, stopped at a farmhouse for rest. A young Union scout named James Parker, disguised as a Confederate deserter, noticed the letter's seal and suspected its importance. That night, he followed the courier, ambushed him, and delivered the letter to Union command. The message gave Grant exactly what he needed: Lee's movements, supply routes, and rendezvous plans. Within 3 days, Union forces surrounded Lee's army at Appomattox Courthouse. The war was over. Parker's name never appeared in history books. But without him, the war might have dragged on for months, costing thousands more lives.